It's funny because it's like the FIA is like learning how to walk. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of F1Talk. I am Sherif, and I'm joined by my homie Joe over there.
What's up, guys? What's up?
And we are here to talk about more F1 stuff. So this week we didn't have a race, but we have just the ongoing debacle of Formula One, FIA management, and of course, the big topic du jour that everyone's going on about is the cost cap, or the spending cap. And, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I know the FIA is trying to be more specific with its rules and with its kind of management system, in particular, like, the rules and this and that. But, dude, like, it's getting out of control. And this whole current situation with Red Bull and them going over the cost cap, the spending cap, is just, I don't know, like it's unacceptable, in my point of view.
It's not. It's going to be a loophole, basically. Like
Very
if
clearly.
if we obviously they went over budget last year. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that FIA is not going to do anything on Red Bulls, not even a penalty or anything. And that means they are going to they can keep on doing that now since that they don't get penalty on or going over budget. And that means when they're going over budget, their performance went up. The upgrades go up, their speed go up, their entire team go up. And of course, they are not going to get into penalties whatsoever. So, they can just keep on doing it year after year after year.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Okay, so what really frustrates me about this situation is a couple of points. Martin Brundle actually, wrote a whole thing about this, where basically, first of all, having two tiers of rules, right? Like if you're below the 5% mark or you're above the 5% mark, right? Is way too few a sort of series of steps. And the sort of consequences at each respective tier is really kind of ridiculous, right? So if we could break this down into more tiers, you could have very specific tier level consequences, right? So if Red Bull broke the cost cap by $100, okay, it's a slap on the wrist, no big deal, right?
Yeah.
But if they broke it by the full 5%, right? That can mean consequences to the championship. That can mean, especially for the 2021 season, right? So if that's the case, there should be consequences in terms of points. Now the system is arbitrary. It's well, what if they end up in the middle? Okay, did they benefit enough in order to get an advantage? In the racing season or not? Okay, do we apply these consequences? Is it a fine? Is it this? Is it that? And ultimately for a team like Red Bull, a fine doesn't really mean anything. They already were able to spend millions over the cost cap at that point.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they need to have a tiered system. They need to at least break it down into maybe 5 steps between for every 2%, there are very clear consequences. So if you're between this percentage or 1 and 2%, you get these consequences. 2 and 4, you know what I mean? You get another set of consequences, 5 and, to 7, yada, 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 yada.
Right.
So anyways, that's my first gripe. My second gripe is the arbitration process means that we may not hear, any sort of result to this situation until a very long time. Right? And this is something that needs to be judged upon, like, right fucking now.
Yeah. It's not like it feels like they're gonna have the solutions. I mean, not the solutions, but they're gonna decide what to do. Like if there is another budget cap issue coming up, they're gonna decide what to do within the next 2 or 3 years, and that's already way over the championship. Like way over the season is over, which is crazy because if you think about it, if you think like deeply, the team can use that advantages because obviously then FIA cannot take away their championship points.
Right.
So what's the point of having budget cap?
Right. So before we get too far, let us know down in the comments below. First of all, like, are you really surprised that Red Bull went over the cost cap for the 2021 season?
Nope.
Right? And two, like, what do you guys think about, my recommendation that there needs to be, like, multiple tiers for the consequences, but also, like, we need to have a much faster system, right? Because, like, right now, the FIA asserts that Red Bull violated the cost cap. They're not stating publicly, like, how much they went over, which I think is the first problem. They need to be transparent with that.
Yeah.
And then now Red Bull is saying, no, we deny that we did this. Like, according to our auditors, we were, dollar for dollar. So now it needs to go into, like, a new review. And then if the FIA still asserts that there's, cost cap, I believe that there's, like, another level of, like, contest that they can go to in terms of, like, determining if there's an actual violation. So it's like, dude, how many months is this going to take? Meanwhile, Red Bull can violate the cost cap again for 2022. If this thing takes on till, like, next year, then they could also be violating it for 2023.
2024, like, 25, 26, 27,
it's
28.
Be forever before we come to resolutions on these issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. For me, like, the biggest violation of this whole situation, right? And, like, I think why people are up in arms is because the sting of last season's manipulation is still so strong, right? Like, it was very clear that Red Bull had some undue influence over Michael Massey, and now we're finding out that they violated the cost cap on top of that influence and Massey's, like, manipulation of the final, like, result, right? It throws all of 2021 into question.
They're better off just get rid of the championship of 2021 and then just pretend that it never happened, because 2021 it's a shithole for not only Red Bulls, but I mean mostly Red Bull, but like for the whole entire like system of Formula One. It was a shithole, and ultimately it cost a championship, Lewis Hamilton's championship. So
no, I would rather see nobody win.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Than anything, and just say that like 2021 was like a black era in
Formula
FIA regulation of the entire system.
Yeah, and 2022 is 2022 they have to, after like 2022 and beyond, they have to clarify the Formula One regulations on every single detail, including budget cap. And like Sherif was saying, budget cap, like financial decisions, issue needs to be fixed right in the same season, not like 2 seasons after, 3 seasons after, 1 season after. No, right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying this point right now. There's no waiting. Because if it keep on happening, you might as well let everybody going over budget caps, because no one really cares, because there's no penalties whatsoever.
Yeah, and like I haven't been able to verify, but there was some reporting that I saw. Again, this is unverified, but it said that Toto Wolff said if there's no consequences for Red Bull from this, then there's no reason for Mercedes to even acknowledge the cost cap. Yeah,
there's no reason to hold back.
They may as well overspend. You know?
Because if in car race scenarios, like car development, having a budget, having a certain amount of money, even like $1 million over budget cap, even that can make 10 seconds or few seconds up.
No, I would say you could at least predict that you could get upgrades. Those upgrades can lead to tenths of a second.
Exactly.
Per lap, right?
Per lap,
which will result in, let's say we're at one of the races with like a 72 lap race. If you're getting a tenth a second for 72 laps,
you're gonna get at least a second overall.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Like you are definitely going to be able to be ahead of the pack, and you can be performing at a much higher level.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and everybody knows this. I mean, that's why Ferrari was outraged by it. That's why Toto Wolff was outraged by it, And I know a lot of the other teams were staying quiet initially, but I think if you really do the math, this is unacceptable,
And I think also a lot of people are saying Red Bull's upgrade this season, the flexible floor and all that upgrade, it's already way over budget cap.
Yeah, again, if they know they're going to just get a slap on the wrist, then there's no reason not to violate it. Realistically speaking, I'm speaking to you as somebody with some competitive experience and racing experience, right? As a team manager, if I know that I can get an advantage, and if I break or bend the rules a little bit, and there's basically going to be negligible consequences for me.
Except
I'm
just
taking that.
Except just paying some money.
Yeah.
Except just paying. Yeah, I will take it. There's no consequences. Just pay the money and then you get the performance. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if I have. I'm one of the biggest teams in the game, and I have already an incredible budget to start with. Come on, pay him, be done with it.
Pay him, we'll win the championship. Pay him, we'll gain a few advantages on it without any consequences.
Yeah,
why not? End of the story. Why not?
You'd be stupid not to do that. Honestly.
From the strategic standpoint, for every single team on the Formula 1 grid, they should really consider this.
No, I mean, think about it like this, right? Okay, I was watching this guy recently where he was saying, okay, if you think about it, most governmental systems are, somewhat corrupt, right? But it all depends on your level of power and influence in order to gain the benefits of that corruption. So for example, us in the United States, it's really the 1%, that gain the benefits. Okay, I can commit crime, I can violate, insider trading laws.
Right.
I can
Right.
run a stoplight in my town and I get a
Yeah.
slap on the wrist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The same is true in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Like Boris Johnson can sit there and have COVID parties while the entire country is in lockdown. And what were the consequences for the
Nothing.
guy? Like realistically, right?
Nothing.
Because he's part of that 1%,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like it's no different than in Formula One right now.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
When the
Nope.
rules are supposed to be steadfast, if like you can gain an advantage with like the sort of level of corruption inside, why don't you take it?
Yeah. Yeah. And then
You know what I mean?
And
like
then you
you'd
can-
be stupid not to.
And then, like, if FIA wants to actually go in and do a lot more analysis, like what they did on Red Bull, you can do the same thing as Red Bull, just saying, oh, we are not, all these are just, hospitality.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, come on. Everything
Yeah.
can be fake. They can cover it up. So, if I'm a team leader, I would say, yeah, let's just pay for it, and then let's gain some advantages, and then let's do a cover up later on.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Like, let us know down below what you guys think, but that's our
Yeah.
opinions. It's kind of weird for us to think about, but still, it's fun.
No. I mean, the reality is like what we're seeing on some level is like proof that we are not. It's not 100% proven, right? But we are starting to see the potential that the FIA is corrupt, on some level, and I feel are starting to see like proof that Red Bull are cheaters. They're so determined to get over Mercedes and their dominance of the sport.
I mean,
were
you can
willing
already
to exact influence
Yeah.
over Massey.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they were willing to go over the spending. Now here's the thing. It wouldn't be such a big deal if the FIA, even like I said, would announce how much they went over the cost cap. If it was $100, this thing would go quiet overnight.
Yeah. Come
Right?
on, $100. You can't do anything with $100.
Right. But we're all speculating that this is millions.
Millions, you can make some crazy upgrade.
Yeah, dude, think about it. 5% of $114 million. Dude, that's a lot of money. That is a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, and we are still like we are seeing this trend right now for Red Bull. Like FIA is Red Bull's is FIA's favorite teams. Like
Yeah. It feels that way.
It feels that way. So like
Yeah.
from last year to this year to now budget cap, it kind of, and then a lot of the regulations kind of just went to the favor of Red Bull.
Yeah.
So again, that's another controversial, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it kind of just, the budget cap, the regulations, everything just kind of become a cohesive, circle that favor Red Bull.
Like
Yeah.
it definitely, if it isn't actually that way, it definitely feels that way.
It feels that way. I
Yeah.
mean, at least from my perspective and Sherif's perspective, it
Yeah.
feels that way for us. But
and I feel that it behooves the FIA to address this issue and to
They should.
address it quickly, right?
they need to.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't understand why this arbitration process could take months and months when they could probably do it in weeks.
Yeah.
Like realistically speaking.
And they can probably do it right after 2021 season. Like right after Max get his
Right?
championship.
Yeah, like why are we talking about this whole system this this far into the next season. Like realistically,
yeah. And Max
like
with another championship already, and we are still talking about 2021 championship season, which is,
no, like what would be really really good is that like, okay, provisionally, once you get your drivers championship, the manufacturers championship, like those announcements are provisional, right? And it goes into an immediate like 6-week or 2-month review process, right?
Right.
Where they go through all of the team's spending, they go through all of their sort of like overhead and anything and everything they've done, right? And the entire season, all of this stuff should be calculated and put together by the teams anyways. Like that's how any good business is run. You keep active fucking books. You know what I mean? It's not that's why you do the calculation at the end of an entire year for all of your spending. Right?
Yeah, that's why you need financial departments, accountant departments.
Thank you. Exactly. Right? So then it goes into a 6 to 8 week, sort of review. And then immediately, 2 months after the end of the season, they validate and certify all of the results. Now, that may take a lot of man hours and sort of like capability from the FIA, in order to do it that fast. I understand. I'm not being like unreasonable. Like evaluating, 10 teams worth of books is a big process, right? But if they want to ensure the sanctity and the validity of the racing series, like I think they should be doing it themselves already. We shouldn't be talking about it like, dude, we have 4 more races to the end of the season?
Yeah. Yep. And
like, come on.
Like for us, this type of stuff shouldn't be happening. Because I'm gonna say it again, a pinnacle of for motorsports is Formula One. They should already have that thing sorted out, like all the regulations, all the accountants, finance, whichever you want to call it, the FIA, like community or the system. It needs to be already like have a good system for like how long has FIA Formula One been around? Like
right, exactly. Like why are we still dicking around with this stuff?
Why are we still thinking around this basic stuff? Like regulations, number 1, budget cap, number 2, and penalties, number 3. Why?
Yeah.
This type of stuff should be in a system already that has a very stricted rules of you go over penalties, you go over budget, you go over issues, or you do something wrong, you get penalties. Just that simple.
It shouldn't like. It's funny because it's like the FIA is like learning how to walk, and it's bro, like how, like you said, how long have you fucking existed? Have you not seen every sort of issue already come up already?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, this isn't new shit.
It feels like FIA, the Formula One race, it's only been around for 3 years or 2 years.
Right.
It's
exactly.
Like, why are we looking? What is going on?
yeah, exactly.
It's a mess. It's a Michael mess.
Yeah. Oh god. No, it's ridiculous. And if you agree with us or you disagree with us, let us know down in the comments. Like I don't know. The dark cloud of 2021 still looms large, and I totally believe that I would much rather them just blot out the entire season and just chalk it up to I'm not even saying it for Hamilton should win. I would much rather see Hamilton not win and then just say, you know what, like we fucked up, like we own, which they'll never do, by the way, right?
Yeah.
But just to say, like, we fucked up. You know what? We're gonna call 2021, you know, like a bad year. Bad calls were made. You know, rules were violated. Let's move on to a brighter new future.
Yeah.
You know, like
everything that you say, bad calls are made, rules are violated. That happens in 2021. To be honest, like every single race, there's always like that. Always bad calls. Always, you know, rules are violated and all that stuff. So like for me, I would rather, like, same as Sherif, I would rather no one wins. Like, just call 2021 a blank. Just just cancel 2021 campaign and move on to 2022 or 2023 or beyond.
Exactly. I agree. All right, guys. Let us know. Don't forget. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will catch you in the next one.
Down there. Bye-bye.